I'm Terry Garvey.
And I'm Derek Mooney.
And this is Read Right Now. This is Pobl Scoil Neason in Baldoyle in Dublin. They've got the classrooms, they've got the teachers, they've got the books. They have everything here set up to make learning happen.
But what if you're not at school? What if you are an adult learner? Well, this week we'll be looking at how you can set yourself up for successful learning.
There are four main aspects to learning, so we'll be looking at the person. That's you, your attitudes, your past experiences, and we'll be looking at the process. That's how you learn.
We'll also be looking at the many places and environments in which we learn and how, when content is presented and organised well, it can help you achieve your goals.
And we'll be presenting hints and advice, so watch out for reading timetables, measuring liquid volume, and of course the usual spelling tips. Derek, I'm going to leave you to brave the classrooms, and I am off to see what there is for the adult learner outside the school walls.
See you later. To get the most out of Read Right Now, you should get yourself a copy of the free Read Right Now workbook. All you have to do is pick up the phone and dial 1-800 20 20 65. Lines are open now. It's got worksheets and activities to practice, as well as lots more tips and advice. Looking around, all this fantastic work is evidence of successful learning. The teachers here aim to provide the students with the learning support they need. Schools like this one provide a structured learning environment for the students. The question is, how do you, the adult learner, learning at home, at work, in a library, or in an adult education centre, how do you recreate the learning conditions here at this school for yourself?
The obvious place to start with when thinking about learning is with yourself. As an adult, there are two important differences compared to school learners. The first is that as an adult, you have choice. You're learning because you want to. And the second thing you bring to your learning is your own life skills and your experience. You're in charge of your own learning. You have choice about what, where, and when you learn, and why you learn it. It's your decision what's the best way to approach it. Do you prefer to go to a night class? Do you have time to study during the day? Do you prefer to work at home? You're in charge. It's your choice. You've also got a whole range of skills that you can use to help yourself as a learner. For instance, you probably know yourself well enough at this stage to know that if you don't set aside a specific time and place to study, you'll never get round to it.
Our spelling tip this week is all about adding word endings to a root word to change its meaning. Look at the word play. If we add an ending full to the word, we get playful. This is a new word with a different meaning. In this case, we say that play is a root word and full is an example of a suffix. Playful, root word play, suffix full. Here are some more examples. Suit and suitable. Like, likeness. Sometimes the same root word can take a number of different suffixes to give different words. Look at the root word enjoy. By adding different suffixes or endings, we can get enjoyment, enjoyable. You can try a few more examples if you've got the Read Right Now workbook.
Class, what I'd like you to study for tomorrow is the fight scene on page 59.
Another aspect of learning which relates to you, the learner, is your previous experience of it, perhaps even your school experience. Now, some people sail through school with flying colours. You know, the ones who got the gold star in their copybooks from junior infants all the way to Leaving Cert. But for other people, going through school was a much bumpier road to travel. But it's important to remember that because we make choices and because we bring life experience to bear, learning as an adult can be a very different process.
Builder Noel Aiken left school unable to read or write. He had a desire to learn, and with the support of his sister, he returned to learning a few years ago. In no time, his efforts paid off.
I'm from Donegal. I grew up on a small farm there, and there were a few nice rivers there for fishing on as you grow up, so it was one of the hobbies as a child growing up. I would have been used to fishing a lot, but fly fishing would be a new hobby for me. Got a few books on it, and you get a few tips out of the books, and being able to read now perfect, it's been a great help to me. Living on a farm was the biggest thing, was to get home from school, to get out on the fields with your dad, and homework might get amiss. If I got back in time, it might get looked at and it might not. It's just the way of the farming life. I broke my leg then when I was about 8.5, 9. I was in a cast for 6 months, and with having to walk to catch a minibus to get to school, I couldn't make it with a broken leg and the crutches every day, so I was off school for 6 months at that time, which I feel would have been a very critical time in my learning. By the time I did get back then, I had whatever interest was there was gone, and I don't think I ever actually got back into school after that. Well, I left school, I would have been about 11.5 roughly, and my reading and writing skills wouldn't have been that good, and I was just off to work, and that was it. The education side of it never got a thought.
You might have left school behind, but you could still be carrying with you beliefs and attitudes from your school days. That's fine if the beliefs are positive ones, but what if the beliefs you're carrying around are limiting you? Like, I'm no good at learning, I could never tackle that, I'd never be successful. Remember, whatever your experiences of school were, your past is not your future. Don't drive into the future using a rear view mirror. Get rid of those limiting beliefs and replace them with ones that are useful for you as an adult learner.
Let's look at the difficulties people have in learning. Inside your head, you have the most powerful supercomputer in the world. In fact, in learning power, your brain has more power than 10,000 computers. So how is it that some people have difficulty learning to read or to write or to do maths? Well, there are 2 essential ingredients to learning. The first is having positive feelings towards learning, and the second is believing that you can learn. Unfortunately, for some people, their memories of learning are linked to negative emotions. Take my own primary school class, for instance. 40 children, the academically achieving ones in the back row, the ones who are not achieving in the front row, in the spotlight, under the teacher's nose. Yet the difference between the brains in that room were trivial in comparison to the power of each individual mind. So how do we learn? That brings us to the second ingredient for learning, belief. If you don't believe in your ability to learn, you won't learn. You may believe that you cannot learn, but these beliefs can be changed. You can break the limits you've set for yourself. How? Well, firstly, start off with something that you're good at already or interested in, maybe a sport or a pastime or a hobby. Learn more about that, build your learning there, and build your own confidence that you can learn. The second way is to find an environment where people believe that you can learn. That may be a formal class of some kind. It may be more informally in the home or family. Remember, you have the most powerful supercomputer in the world inside your head. You have to believe that you can learn.
Now, another aspect that we have to look at is the learning process itself. If you have a look at the experiments that the students are engaged in behind me here, you will see that they are going through a process and working in an organised way to get a result. They are actively watching and paying attention to what they are doing, and the teacher is on hand to offer them feedback and support. Attention, feedback and support are all important elements of the learning process, which we'll be looking at in greater detail as the series progresses. Now I wonder what's going to happen when I pour 100 millilitres of this into 500 millilitres of that. Just about the only place you can buy a pint of anything these days is in the pub. However, we are becoming more familiar with a litre of milk, a litre of paint. A litre, just like a pint, is a unit for measuring the volume or amount of a liquid. Comparing a pint of milk to a litre of milk, we can see that a pint is approximately half a litre. 2 pints make up just over 1 litre. The letter L is used to denote a litre. This is how you write 1 litre. So we have 5 litres of paint or 20 litres of petrol. A litre is an example of a metric unit. Metric units are quite easy once you become familiar with them, as they are based on tens, hundreds and thousands. Small amounts of liquid are sometimes measured in millilitres. 1 millilitre is 1,000th of a litre and is usually written ml. So we can have a can of soft drink, 330 millilitres. A tube of toothpaste, 100 millilitres. And just in case you ever need to know, a pint is just over 568 millilitres.
If you'd like to find out what VEC literacy services are available in your local area, call the free phone number 1800 20 20 65. All over the country, the VEC provides one-to-one tuition as well as group tuition, so call now.